Good morning, everyone. I'm your host, Suchi, and welcome to AI Minute Mondays with Suchi. Our topic for today is agent security in agentic AI systems. Now, this is becoming a defining challenge as AI systems gain the ability to act autonomously, especially on behalf of users across digital environments. Understanding how to protect these agentic systems while still enabling them to operate effectively, this is becoming the need of the hour. And joining me today to help unpack this topic is Kajal D, who's the founder and CEO at SmartVerify. Kajal, can you share a little bit about your background for our viewers?
Yes, of course. So my background is in enterprise IT. I was at Microsoft for a long time, 9 years, SQL Server, Windows, Azure. And at AWS, I ran product for Amazon Workspaces. And then I was general manager of a security and compliance service called Audit Manager. That service had a holistic view of the customer's entire environment. So it was extremely educational in understanding the interaction between IT, security, and the business processes that are ultimately we are trying to drive. Um, Learned a lot and realized as generative AI came along that the game is completely changing. We need to rethink how things need to be done, and that's how Smart Verify came about.
Thank you so much for sharing your background with us. So let's talk a little bit about more about our topic, agentic security, and especially when we are looking at agentic AI systems, right? So can you elaborate a little bit about what exactly this is and why is it essential for ensuring that agentic AI systems are operating safely?
Yeah, so generative AI gives applications tremendous capabilities. Think about generative AI essentially as a software compute. So when we got hardware compute, when applications started to run on servers, we got a tremendous jump in application capability. Now we are moving to an era where applications can do even more because they don't have to crunch every single calculation. They don't have to do every single workflow. They can call an LLM or a model and they get this output based on patterns. Tremendous increase in capability. But with tremendous increase in capability comes tremendous increase in risk because now we are trusting these agents to perform these actions autonomously on behalf of the organization. And we are giving them a ton of access to data and to critical information. So, this is why agentic AI is such a big topic. The upside is huge, the downside is also huge, and they have to be bridged. So, how we do agentic AI security, in my opinion, is the burning topic of 2026.
Thank you. Thank you, Kajal, for sharing that. It's definitely one of the most important topics that everyone needs to consider because almost every company I've talked to said they want to go in for an agentic AI system. So definitely, and that's super critical. So can you share some fallouts that you have seen due to inadequate security controls, and what are the practical strategies or safeguards that organizations can take to basically ensure that they prevent things like prompt injections, unauthorized actions, or any escalation of an agent's capabilities. So, what are the things that organizations can do? And lastly, the question about human oversight. Is that something that's necessary, or is it just something that can be avoided? So, what are your thoughts on these?
Yeah, such a big question. So, let me try to unpack that. My first thought is that one of the interesting things that has happened is that applications used to be a neutral layer. If you pressed X, you got Y. It was extremely deterministic. Now the application has multiple components. It has the agent, it has the LLM that's actually being used for the compute, essentially. It has training data, and then the user interaction is through prompts. So there are multiple objects that now have to be protected. The security perimeter has become very large. There are multiple objects, and they each have a perimeter. But from an enterprise perspective, the most important perimeter is the one you will draw around your data. So, enterprise data, which is being interacted with, is also a perimeter. So, long story short, there are multiple perimeters to protect. In reality, we need multiple solutions. There are different solutions for managing and controlling prompt injection. There are different solutions for doing training data cleaning and correct labeling and making sure it's not getting tampered with. So it's a litany of solutions that probably need to be actually implemented because no one has a perfect composite solution
Mhm.
yet. And it'll take time for the industry to reach a consolidation stage. So, in the interim, if you're deploying agentic AI, one of the biggest mistakes that I'm seeing enterprises make is that they are thinking about agents as identities.
Mhm.
It's causing a lot of issues because identities were based on assumptions about human limitations. You know, if I'm a X-ray technician, I cannot do diagnoses because my job skills are limited. So all of the way that permissions have been set up today are assuming job skill limitations that AI agents don't have. They are
Mhm.
pattern matchers. If they have access to patterns, they can do clinician's job, they can do X-ray technician's job, they can do the accounting person's job, they can do anybody's job. So essentially, you are in a binary state where you open up your data and you are open to this tremendous risk of scope. So I think of this as a scope risk with AI agents. The second risk with AI agents is scale.
Mhm.
Humans work for 8 hours, if that much, and AI works 24 by 7 and at increasing speeds. So you have this issue of your data being accessed at an extremely high scale in a way that was never being done before. And that's not what our systems, you cannot do observability out of it. The amount of observability data that's going to be generated and the noise is tremendous. When that much access happens, then agents are also accessing things that humans would have never gotten to. So my identity may have access to some things which I never used, and I didn't even know that I had that access because who wants to look for work? But the agent will find that data and will use that data. So, long story short, the complications that I see happening in enterprises is because of scope assumptions that are bad assumptions and scale increases, which are totally breaking how systems were designed to work. Plus, there is another problem. Agents are not people, they're actually stateful microservices.
Mhm.
They remember what they saw earlier. And as a microservice with autonomous rights, agents can spawn other agents. Agents can start doing lateral movement and take control of multiple applications. They will just respond to the prompt. There is no ethical consideration that the microservice has. So you really have to be very well designed in how you are setting up your security perimeters. Otherwise, the risk is very real. So I'll pause there. You asked me more questions, but this is already enough of an answer. So I'll take a break and I'll let you follow up.
Thank you. Thank you, Kajal, for sharing that. So, definitely a lot of things for companies to think about as they go ahead and start building their agentic AI systems. But the key aspect is security is something that needs to be planned for during every stage. It's not something that can come in as an afterthought, and it
Yeah,
needs to be. And because today there are a litany of solutions, you have to kind of look at what solution you need for each aspect
yes.
of your agentic AI system and plan and make sure that you're planning and building a system with security in mind.
I
Uh,
would like to add one more thing, Sushi.
yeah.
I think the one thing I want to call out is that if I take an enterprise perspective, and like I said, that's my background, so I have a little
Hmm.
bias here, it's really data security that is most critical. And the reason is that the AI systems are still evolving. We
Hmm.
actually don't know how to secure them because 2 years
Hmm.
from now, they will look very different than what they look today. So the thing that we can secure and where we should put our policies is really actually data. So I definitely feel very passionately that when enterprises are thinking about agentic AI security, the first place to start is thinking about their data security because that's the most important perimeter that they're going to have. And the rest of the perimeters will shift. So you want to
Hmm.
start with a stable layer. And I think that's the one thought I want to leave you with.
Thank you. To summarize, start with data, secure your data.
There you go.
Well said, Kajal, and thank you for joining us on the show.
Thanks so much.